Have you ever stopped to wonder what makes someone not just grow older, but truly thrive in their golden years? Picture this. You're in your late 60s, maybe even 70s or early 80s, yet each morning you rise with energy, clarity, and a deep sense of joy. Your body moves with ease, your mind stays sharp, and your days are filled with connection, purpose, and laughter. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's entirely possible. Many people your age are already living this way. In today's video, we're going to walk you through 8 essential habits that set these rare individuals apart. These aren't complicated routines or unrealistic goals. They're powerful, everyday choices that can help you build a healthier, more meaningful life as you age. So if you're someone who believes that life doesn't stop at 65, but gets better with intention, then stay with us. You won't want to miss what's coming. And if you find value in this kind of message, please consider giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing, and ringing the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss a chance to grow, thrive, and live fully every single day. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. There's something quietly powerful about being able to take care of yourself as you grow older. For many Americans between 65 and 80, maintaining physical independence isn't just a matter of pride. It's a daily declaration that life is still yours to live, on your terms. Maybe it's the simple act of getting dressed in the morning without assistance, or preparing your meals just the way you like them. Maybe it's walking down the front steps to check the mailbox or sweeping the porch before company arrives. These moments, though small to some, are deeply meaningful. They say, "I'm still capable. I'm still here." You see, physical health at this stage of life is more than a number on the scale or a blood pressure reading. It's about being able to live with dignity, to move through the day with confidence, and to feel that your body, while not what it once was, is still strong enough to carry your spirit. That's why people who continue to thrive well into their 70s often share one trait in common. They move. And they move often. Regular exercise isn't just for athletes or the young. It's one of the most reliable, proven keys to aging gracefully. And no, it doesn't have to be grueling or fancy. For many older adults, it looks like a brisk morning walk around the block, a gentle stretch with yoga or tai chi, a dip in the community pool, or even dancing to old favorites in the living room. What matters isn't the type of movement. It's the consistency. Movement keeps the joints limber, strengthens the muscles that protect us from falls, and supports the balance and coordination that many take for granted until they begin to slip away. But beyond the practical, regular exercise brings something even more valuable: energy. That feeling of being able to get up off the couch without groaning. The ability to say yes to a trip, an afternoon out, or even a family hike without worrying you'll be left behind. It's about reclaiming control over your body, and by extension, your freedom. Exercise becomes not just a routine, but a quiet rebellion against the idea that growing older means slowing down. And fueling that body well? That's the other half of the equation. A healthy diet isn't about dieting or deprivation. It's about nourishment. It's about giving your body the tools it needs to do its job well. And if you've ever noticed how much better you feel after a fresh, home-cooked meal compared to something out of a bag or a box, you know exactly what that means. The healthiest older adults often make deliberate, thoughtful choices when it comes to food. Their plates are colorful with fresh vegetables and fruits. They reach for lean proteins, maybe grilled chicken, salmon, or beans. They favor whole grains like oatmeal or brown rice over processed alternatives. And while they might enjoy a slice of pie or a glass of wine from time to time, they understand balance. They don't eat like they did in their 20s, because they know their bodies deserve more wisdom now. A well-balanced diet supports more than just your waistline. It protects your heart, supports bone strength, sharpens your mind, and even keeps your immune system resilient. It's the difference between a sluggish afternoon and one where you feel alert and involved. It's the energy to go out with friends, play with your grandkids, or simply enjoy a quiet afternoon in the garden. Together, these three elements, independence, movement, and mindful eating, form the foundation of vibrant physical health. And they aren't just about adding years to your life. They're about adding life to your years. So when you see someone well into their 70s who still mows their lawn, volunteers at the local library, or walks into the grocery store without hesitation, don't just admire their stamina. Look closer. You'll likely find they've made quiet, intentional choices every day. They've chosen strength over surrender, routine over decline, and vitality over resignation. And maybe, just maybe, that's not as rare as we think. Maybe it's something we can all strive for, starting right now, no matter our age. There's a certain kind of brilliance that doesn't fade with time, it deepens. You've likely met someone in their 70s or 80s whose mind is still as sharp as a tack. They finish the crossword before breakfast, recall childhood stories with clarity, and still have that spark in their eyes when discussing something new. What's their secret? It's not luck. It's not genetics. It's intention. They've chosen to keep their minds alive, engaged, and open, and that mental sharpness is one of the most powerful tools in aging well. It begins with active learning. For the truly vibrant older adult, learning doesn't end at retirement. It only shifts. Maybe it's picking up a history book from the library, not because you have to, but because you want to understand the past a little better. Maybe it's joining an online course or a community class about photography, gardening, or even computer basics. Some take up a new instrument or start writing the memoir they've talked about for years. Every time they engage with something new, they send a signal to the brain. Keep growing. It's not about mastering everything. It's about continuing to stretch. But a sharp mind isn't just about absorbing information. It's also about applying it. That's where problem solving comes in. Life, as we know, doesn't get simpler with age. There are still challenges, health concerns, family decisions, finances, and technology. But those who remain mentally resilient don't avoid problems. They face them with patience and creativity. They step back, assess a situation, and weigh their options. They've learned not to panic, but to pivot. Whether it's figuring out how to fix a leaky faucet without calling someone, managing medication schedules, or helping a neighbor solve a dispute, these everyday problems become exercises for the mind. And each one solved becomes another notch of confidence and experience. Tying it all together is something beautifully childlike that never grows old: curiosity. The most mentally vibrant seniors are the ones who are still deeply curious. They ask questions. They want to know how things work, why things happen, and what's new in the world. They aren't afraid to explore, to wonder, or to admit they don't know something, because for them, learning is a joy, not a chore. Whether it's exploring a new culture through travel, asking their grandkids about the latest slang, or simply sitting outside and marveling at the change in seasons, their curiosity keeps them connected to the world, to others, and to themselves. Mental sharpness isn't about being a genius. It's about being engaged. It's about refusing to let the mind settle into idle stillness. It's about making the choice, every single day, to keep thinking, keep learning, and keep wondering. And in doing so, these rare individuals don't just preserve their cognitive health, they enrich their lives, and inspire everyone around them to do the same. There's something deeply human about the need to feel connected. At 65, 75, or even 85, that need doesn't fade. It simply changes shape. It's no longer about the hustle and bustle of professional life or raising a family. Instead, it becomes more about a meaningful connection. The kind that fills your heart, grounds your days, and gives purpose to the quieter moments. For those who age with grace and warmth, social connection is not just an accessory to a good life, it's a lifeline. It often starts at home, or with the people closest to you. Building and nurturing strong relationships takes intention, especially later in life. Maybe it's picking up the phone to call an old friend, or scheduling a regular lunch date with your sister who lives across town. Maybe it's being present, truly present, when your grandchildren come to visit, listening to their stories about school, even if you don't understand all the references. The people who thrive in older age often make the choice to keep their bonds alive. They don't wait for someone to reach out. They reach out first. They write letters, send birthday cards, and remember anniversaries. Their relationships aren't surface level. They are anchored in care, respect, and shared history. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. But relationships don't stop with family. Those who stay vibrant know the power of engaging in an active social life. That doesn't mean being the life of every party or joining every group in town. It means participating, showing up, finding small ways to stay involved. Maybe that's attending a weekly church group, joining a walking club at the park, or meeting a friend every Wednesday at the diner for coffee and pie. It could be a book club, a choir, a bridge game, or even a community center fitness class. What matters is that these activities create rhythm and structure. They bring laughter, conversation, and a sense of belonging, things we all need, no matter our age. When you're part of something outside yourself, you don't just exist, you belong. And in that space of belonging, older adults often discover a new purpose. That's where contributing to the community comes in. Many people in their later years find joy in giving back, not because they have to, but because they want to. They volunteer at food banks, serve meals to those in need, read to children at local schools, or help care for animals at the shelter. Some mentor young people, share skills, or simply lend an ear to someone who's lonely. These acts of service, big or small, create ripple effects that stretch far beyond what they can see. And they don't just benefit others, they breathe new life into the giver. There's a quiet magic in helping someone else, especially when you do it not for recognition, but for love. It reminds you that you still matter, that your experience still holds weight, that even in retirement, or perhaps especially in retirement, you have something deeply valuable to offer the world. For many older adults, this sense of social connection becomes a source of emotional nourishment. It eases loneliness, fights depression, and adds color to daily life. You wake up not just wondering what you'll do today, but who you might see, who you might help, or who might make you laugh. You feel less like time is passing you by and more like you're still part of the story being written around you. And isn't that the heart of it all? To feel seen, to be useful, to be loved. The people who embody these qualities in their golden years don't do it by accident. They choose to stay engaged. They choose connection over isolation, participation over retreat. And in doing so, they age not just with strength, but with joy, purpose, and community. They remind us that while the body may slow down, the heart never has to. There's a quiet kind of freedom that comes when your finances are in order, a peace of mind that can't be bought, only built. For those in their late 60s, 70s, or beyond, financial security isn't just about having money in the bank. It's about stability, dignity, and the confidence to enjoy life without constant worry. And that peace often comes down to 3 things: smart planning, steady habits, and the wisdom to live within your means. It starts with responsible budgeting, a skill often honed over decades of hard-earned experience. Those who age gracefully with financial stability are usually the same people who've learned to track what they spend, stick to a plan, and distinguish between what they want and what they truly need. They understand that living well doesn't mean living large. It means knowing where every dollar goes, paying bills on time, and setting something aside for the unexpected. Whether they still write it down in a notebook or use a simple spreadsheet, they have a system, and they stick to it. This kind of budgeting isn't restrictive. On the contrary, it creates freedom. It allows for the occasional splurge, a dinner out, a birthday gift for a grandchild, or a small weekend getaway, because they've planned for it. There's no guilt, no fear of overextending. Just confidence in knowing that today's choices won't cost them tomorrow's security. Of course, that level of control doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of retirement planning, years, sometimes decades, of looking ahead and preparing for a life beyond the 9 to 5. People who thrive in retirement are often those who took the long view early on. They saved when it wasn't easy. They asked questions, did research, and made adjustments when needed. They diversified their income, invested wisely, and made sure to build a cushion, not just for emergencies, but for comfort. And while retirement planning often involves numbers, Social Security, pensions, 401(k)s, it's also about imagining the kind of life they want to live. They've thought about what gives them joy, what they want their days to look like, and how to make those dreams fit within their financial reality. That foresight makes all the difference. Because when the paychecks stop, the plan doesn't. It carries them forward, giving structure and support to this new chapter of life. At the heart of all this effort is something deeply empowering: financial independence. It's the ability to live life on your terms, not relying on children, not leaning on friends, not stressing over every expense. It's knowing that you've built a foundation strong enough to support you, even when life throws its surprises. This kind of independence doesn't mean you're wealthy, it means you're secure. You're able to cover your needs, enjoy your wants, and make choices based on values, not desperation. You can give to causes that matter to you. You can treat yourself now and then. Most of all, you can breathe deeply, knowing that you've done what so many struggle to do. You've prepared well. And in doing so, you've given yourself a priceless gift. Not just the ability to retire, but the ability to truly enjoy it. Financial security in later life isn't flashy. It's not about flashy cars or big houses. It's about opening the mailbox without dread. About knowing that the lights will stay on, the fridge will be full, and your life is your own. It's about walking through each day with a sense of calm, with freedom in your choices and confidence in your future. And for those who've built it, that calm, quiet as it may be, is one of the most powerful blessings of growing older. There's a quiet strength that lives within those who've weathered the storms of life and still wake up each morning with a smile. By the time you've reached your 60s, 70s, or 80s, you've likely endured your fair share of heartbreak, losses, setbacks, and changes you never asked for. And yet, some people seem to carry themselves with a lightness that defies the weight of the years behind them. What sets them apart isn't luck or circumstance. It's a deep and intentional commitment to emotional well-being. At the heart of this emotional strength is a positive outlook, not the kind of forced cheerfulness that ignores hardship, but a steady, grounded decision to see the beauty in each day. These individuals don't pretend life is perfect. They simply choose not to dwell on the negative. They find joy in the little things: a warm cup of coffee, a phone call from a grandchild, the golden sunlight streaming through the window in the late afternoon. They have learned to pause and appreciate what is, rather than getting lost in what was or what could have been. You can see it in their conversations. They tend to speak more about what they're grateful for than what they've lost. They reminisce with fondness rather than bitterness. They laugh easily and find humor even in life's frustrations. It's not that they haven't suffered, it's that they've made peace with it, folded it into their story, and chosen to move forward with grace. That ability to carry pain without letting it define them, that's resilience. And it's often the hallmark of people who age with peace and purpose. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel hurt. It means you don't let that hurt close the door on hope. It's what allows someone to get back up after losing a spouse, or facing a scary diagnosis, or feeling forgotten by the fast-paced world around them. Resilient people lean into life even when it feels uncertain. They don't let fear paralyze them. They face challenges with a quiet courage, sometimes crying through it, straying through it, leaning on others, but always pushing forward. Over time, They learn that strength isn't about never falling. It's about knowing how to rise. And what helps them rise, what gives them the energy to keep going day after day, is a sense of purpose. That doesn't necessarily mean a big, world-changing mission. It might be something as simple and profound as tending a garden, teaching a grandchild how to fish, or checking in on a neighbor who lives alone. Purpose is what gets you out of bed in the morning with a reason to move, to show up, to care. People with purpose don't drift. They live with direction. They feel that their life still matters, not just to themselves, but to others. And when you feel needed, when you believe that you still have something to give, it fills you with energy that no medication or therapy can replicate. Some find purpose in faith, some in service, others in creativity. But wherever it comes from, it roots them. It keeps their emotional world steady, even when everything else is changing. In a world that often focuses on physical health and financial stability, emotional well-being can be overlooked. But for those who age with wisdom and contentment, it's the very center of their strength. They've learned to manage their feelings, to express what matters, and to let go of what doesn't. They've stopped trying to control the uncontrollable and instead focus on what they can choose, how they respond, how they love, and how they continue to show up for life. They teach us that growing older isn't about fading away. It's about coming home to yourself. It's about finally understanding what matters most, and having the courage and clarity to live by it. And when emotional well-being is rooted in optimism, resilience, and purpose, even the hardest days are not empty, they're meaningful. They may not always be easy, but they're rich, full, and deeply human. There comes a point in life, somewhere between the challenges and the quiet victories, when we begin to search for something deeper than comfort, deeper than routine. For many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, that something is spiritual growth. It's not always tied to religion, though for some it may be. More often, it's about discovering a personal connection to meaning, to peace, to something greater than oneself. It's about feeding the soul as much as the body or the mind. At the center of spiritual growth lies a deeply rooted positive outlook, not built on blind optimism, but on trust, a belief that life unfolds with purpose, even when we can't always see it. People who cultivate this kind of outlook often carry a sense of calm that radiates from within. They've learned to surrender the need for control and instead lean into faith, whether it's faith in God, the universe, or the quiet wisdom of time. They understand that each day is a gift, and they greet it not with fear or complaint, but with gratitude. You'll often hear these people say things like, "Everything happens for a reason," or "I trust that things will work out." And they mean it. This spiritual perspective doesn't mean they're untouched by hardship. Many have walked through deep valleys, losing spouses, enduring illness, and facing loneliness. But through it all, they've cultivated something sacred, the resilience of the soul. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. This resilience is not about toughness. It's about grace. It's what allows a person to sit amid uncertainty and still find peace. It's what helps someone accept aging, not as a decline, but as a transition into a different kind of fullness. They don't fight time, they flow with it. They accept what they cannot change and cherish what remains. And in that acceptance, they find strength, not the loud, defiant kind, but a quiet, enduring strength that holds steady through life's storms. But spiritual growth isn't just about surviving, it's about meaning. And that's where the sense of purpose deepens. As people grow older, many begin to reflect on why they're here, what legacy they're leaving, and what their life still has to offer. This purpose isn't measured in big accomplishments. It's found in small, sacred moments, offering forgiveness after decades of silence, sharing wisdom with a younger soul, sitting quietly with someone in pain. These acts, though unseen by most, are deeply spiritual. They reflect a life lived with intention, humility, and love. People who nurture spiritual purpose often become beacons for others. Their presence is calming, their words carry weight, and their ability to listen and simply be brings comfort in ways that no achievement ever could. Some find their purpose in prayer, others in meditation, service, or reflection. For many, it's a quiet walk in the woods, a candle lit at dusk, or the feeling of connection when watching the sunrise. These moments ground them. They remind them that they're part of something larger, something eternal, and that their life, however ordinary it may seem, has meaning that stretches far beyond what they can see. In the end, spiritual growth in later life isn't about answers, it's about presence. It's about learning to sit with questions, to honor the mystery, and to find peace not in certainty, but in trust. It's about understanding that the soul, unlike the body, doesn't age. It deepens. And those who live with this awareness walk differently through the world. They move a little slower, perhaps, but they carry with them a light that softens every room they enter. A light born not from youth or ambition, but from spiritual fullness, a radiance that no years can dim. There's a quiet revolution that happens when someone in their 70s decides to learn something new, not out of necessity, but out of joy. It might be a new language, a musical instrument, or simply how to use a smartphone without calling it a gadget. But behind these efforts lies something much deeper. The belief that growth never stops, and that the human spirit, regardless of age, still longs to expand, explore, and evolve. This is the spirit of continuous learning, and it begins with one essential trait: adaptability. Life changes quickly, and in today's world, it changes faster than ever. The seniors who continue to thrive aren't those who cling to the past, but those who stay open to the present. They may grumble a little at the latest tech, but they'll try it anyway. They might prefer paper and pen, but they're willing to learn how to FaceTime their grandkids or navigate online banking because it keeps them connected. These small acts of flexibility are no small thing. They are daily acts of courage. Adaptability in later life isn't just about technology. It's about embracing new roles and letting go of old ones. Maybe you're no longer the provider, but now you're the storyteller. Maybe you're not the decision-maker in the family anymore, but you're the emotional anchor. This willingness to shift, to adjust, to keep showing up in new ways, that's what keeps the soul from going stale. But beyond simply adjusting, the most vibrant older adults carry a powerful belief at their core: the growth mindset. It's the quiet conviction that you are never too old to learn, never too set in your ways to change, never too late to try. People with a growth mindset don't define themselves by what they can't do. They ask, what can I do next? They view mistakes not as failures but as teachers. And they approach challenges not with dread, but with curiosity. This mindset might show up in the form of enrolling in a community class, trying out painting for the first time, or learning how to fix something around the house that once would have called for help. They don't do it to impress anyone. They do it to prove to themselves that they're still growing. They've discovered something liberating. Aging doesn't close the door on progress, it just opens a different one. Tied closely to that mindset is something even more enduring: lifelong curiosity. It's one of the most beautiful traits a person can carry into their later years. You can see it in the way they listen, truly listen, when others speak. In the way they ask questions, read new books, watch documentaries, or explore places they've never been. It's not about gathering trivia or becoming an expert. It's about keeping the mind awake, the spirit alive. Lifelong learners don't let the world grow small around them. They push their walls outward. They travel, if not across the country, then at least through stories and ideas. They meet new people, not just peers, but younger generations. They try new foods, experiment with new hobbies, and challenge their assumptions. Every day brings a chance to discover something they didn't know yesterday, and that, to them, is a gift. And what's more, this curiosity doesn't just benefit their own life, it spills into others. A curious older adult is often a magnetic presence. They're the ones who ask their grandkids real questions, who light up when a neighbor shares a new recipe, who inspire friends by trying something bold. Their spirit reminds everyone around them that life isn't about settling, it's about seeking. At its heart, continuous learning is not about keeping up, it's about staying open. Open to the unknown, to the uncomfortable, and the unexpected. And those who embody this openness in their golden years are rewarded not just with knowledge, but with vitality. Their minds stay sharper, their conversations more engaging, their lives more colorful. Because in the end, it's not age that closes us off, it's the decision to stop learning. And those who never make that decision, who keep reaching, questioning, and growing, show us that the mind and the soul are timeless, and always ready for what comes next. There's something truly special about a person in their 70s or 80s who still knows how to laugh. Not just a polite chuckle, but a deep, full-hearted laugh that shakes the room and softens the soul. That kind of joy doesn't come from avoiding life's hardships. It comes from embracing them, dancing with them, and still choosing to smile. For so many who age with grace and joy, a sense of humor is one of the most cherished treasures they carry with them. It starts, quite simply, with laughter. Not forced or rehearsed, but honest, spontaneous laughter that bubbles up when you least expect it. Maybe it's a corny joke told over morning coffee. Maybe it's the way the dog tries to sit on your lap like it did 10 years and 20 pounds ago. Or maybe it's laughing at yourself when you forget where you left your reading glasses for the third time today. Those who embrace laughter in old age don't take themselves too seriously. They understand that life is far too unpredictable, far too precious, to be lived in solemn silence. Laughter is healing. It relieves stress, lowers blood pressure, and lifts the spirit. But more than anything, it reminds us that we're alive, and still enjoying it. People who laugh often are usually the ones others want to be around. They're warm, comforting, and create a light in the room that people gravitate toward. Their laughter doesn't just cheer them up, it lifts everyone around them. But behind the laughter is something even deeper: light-heartedness. It's the decision to carry life's weight with an open palm, not a clenched fist. It's the ability to navigate problems without being swallowed by them, to let small things stay small, and to release what you can't control. Seniors who live this way aren't naive. They've seen hard times. They've lost people they loved. But through it all, they've chosen to focus on the good, on beauty, on kindness, on moments that matter. Light-heartedness means you don't sweat the little stuff. You don't worry about what people think. You don't try to be perfect. You let the dishes wait if there's a sunset to watch, or the laundry pile up if there's a grandchild who wants to play. It's about knowing what truly matters and being free enough to let go of what doesn't. Then there's playfulness, that spark of youth that never really dies, no matter how many birthdays pass. Playfulness doesn't belong to children. It belongs to the child within us. The ones who age with a playful spirit are often the most surprising. They're the ones who still love a good prank, who'll dance in the kitchen, who'll sing loud and off-key just to make someone smile. They don't stop playing because they've grown old. They stay young because they've never stopped playing. You'll find them doing puzzles with their great-grandkids, trying out TikTok dances just for fun, or dressing up for Halloween with more enthusiasm than the teenagers. They still get excited about silly things. Games, jokes, little surprises. And in doing so, they remind the rest of us how beautiful it is to stay open, curious, and full of wonder. In a culture that often romanticizes aging as stoic or solemn, these light-hearted souls show us something better. They show us that aging doesn't have to mean becoming serious or withdrawn. It can mean loosening up, laughing more, taking more chances, and holding life with a gentle touch. A sense of humor doesn't erase the pain of aging, but it softens it. It doesn't ignore sorrow, but it reminds us that joy can live alongside it. Those who carry humor into their later years are often the ones who live not just longer, but better. They show us that the heart, like the soul, doesn't wrinkle with age. It stays tender, alive, and wonderfully willing to laugh, even when the world gives us every reason not to. And maybe that's the secret, not taking life too seriously, even when it gets serious. To smile at the mirror, giggle at the chaos, and laugh like your years are just numbers. Because in the end, the ones who laugh the loudest are often the ones who've lived the fullest. As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to reflect on what you've just heard. These 8 habits: caring for your physical health, keeping your mind sharp, nurturing relationships, managing your finances, guarding your emotional well-being, growing spiritually, staying curious, and keeping your sense of humor alive, aren't just a checklist. They're the quiet threads that weave a rich, fulfilling life in your golden years. You don't need to master all of them overnight. Even choosing one June 1 to focus on this week can start to shift the rhythm of your days. Maybe it's going for a walk each morning. Maybe it's calling an old friend, reading a new book, or letting yourself laugh at something silly. The beauty of this season of life is that it's yours to shape, in your own time, in your way. So I ask you, which of these habits spoke to you the most? Was it the laughter? The sense of purpose? The quiet strength of resilience? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear what resonated with you. And if you found a little hope or encouragement here today, please take a moment to like this video. Share it with someone you care about. Someone who might need a gentle reminder that aging can be beautiful, wise, and full of joy. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to this channel for more inspiring stories, helpful habits, and uplifting guidance for life after 65. Thank you for spending your time with me. And remember, you're not just getting older. You're growing richer in spirit, deeper in wisdom, and brighter in the light you bring to the world.